Hey guys, John here, learningguitarnow.com, and in this lesson I want to show you how to play kind of a Gary Moore inspired minor 12-bar blues solo. Now Gary Moore is one of my favorite guitar players. A lot of the stuff that he plays is extremely fast, so in this lesson I'm not going to attack that kind of style because it's a little bit beyond my level, some of his playing. So I'm going to focus in on just a few things that he does, more of a beginner style Gary Moore lesson. This lesson's in the key of C minor, and we're going to just play through a solo over a 12-bar blues. We'll go ahead and take a look at the first few licks for free, and if you would like the complete solo lesson, check out the All Access Pass. You'll also get the interactive tab and downloadable backing track for this lesson, as well as all the previous podcasts I produce. You'll also gain access to all the courses I've developed for learning the techniques and concepts for playing improvisational blues and slide guitar. Let's go ahead and start this lesson. Okay, now I'm going to break this solo down for you into 10 separate licks. Once again, this is in the key of C, C minor. Lick 1 sounds like this. Okay, that's lick number 1, played over the 1 chord, C minor chord. What's happening here, we're utilizing just some really kind of quick first position minor pentatonic licks, and listen to a few different versions of this tune. It's kind of similar to a Midnight Blues you hear him play, and he does a lot of laid back stuff in the live version, you know, not note for note the kind of stuff he does, but he has a really aggressive attitude. And I'm using the neck pickup with the volume on around 3, 4, 5, something like that. Starting off with a little rake here, bending it up, pulling it down to 8th fret on the B string, 10, 8, 10 on the G string, 8 on the B string, and doing this cool little slide. I do this a lot. I hear Gary Moore doing it as well. Just a slide in from 10, 11, 10, and release to 8. So getting that down good. It's pretty basic lick. You just got to get the notes down. So slowly we have this. Right, all in that first position minor pentatonic scale. And the next thing, the little ending piece, is just a classic lick you'll hear all kind of blues guitar players doing. It's just kind of the hit the one note and then you roll down. The trick to that, if you're only gonna strike the slight bend here on the G string, so we're not quite bending that to the major third here, that's a minor third note, or just slightly that 8th fret with your first finger on the G string, and then pull off on 10-8, right here on the D string and the A string. The trick is to only pick the first one, and then you just hammer on with your third finger without picking it. So you have to give it a lot of attitude. And it sounds great to add that little slight bend with your first finger here. If you can't get it that fast, just start out slowly until you can build it up to speed. That's what it should sound like slowly. So it should sound real clean, great note separation. You don't want it's all kind of stuff all over the place. It also really helps if you keep your fingers close to the fretboard. You don't want to be going, some people like hop up, you know, like this everywhere. That it's a lot harder to do that lick if you're going to do it. A great exercise if you want to build hand strength is to take that thing and do it in every key. It's easy. You just take the first position minor pentatonic scale. If we're going to play in the key of G, G note here, and just keep moving it up the fretboard. It also feels a lot different to play it in G than it does like E way up here. So you should be able to do it in all different keys, and you should be able to be practicing it in all different keys. Like I said, great hand strength builder. So you can take that little lick as well and add it to any lick that you have. You know, this lick, lick 1, we had this. One other thing to take note of about this lick is I'm picking pretty soft. Kind of like that. I am striking this a little harder. But in a 12-bar blues like this, real low dynamics at the beginning, it's great to start off with a lot of space and then, you know, picking things easily. Half the tone that I'm getting is derived by striking the strings not that hard. If I strike them hard, you get a totally different tone. So you can get a really warm, relaxed tone with the volume turned down on the neck pickup. And just barely hitting the strings gives you a great sound. Okay, that's lick 1. Okay, lick 2 sounds like this. Okay, that's lick number 2. We're still on the 1 chord, the C minor chord. And so I'm raking, and then I'm striking with my 3rd finger on the high E string here, 11th fret. And then adding this, I'm basically adding the natural minor scale or aeolian mode, whatever you want to call it. So I got 11, 10, 8 here. Then just running down the pentatonic scale. It gives it a real minor sound. You could also think of it just adding that 9th interval to the pentatonic scale, minor pentatonic scale. It's a great thing if you want to play minor and just something simple that you can do to make it sound a little bit more sophisticated. Take any pentatonic scale pattern. That is the 1st pattern. And whatever your root note is, go up 2 frets. Add that to the scale. I added this note as well. It's not in the lick, but same note, you know, octave up. So this note here would be the 7th fret of the G string. If you know where your root note is here, move up 2 frets, like I told you. That 9th interval, that's your root here as well. So I always stress learning where your root notes are everywhere. So if you know where your root notes are at all over the fretboard, then you can just add that one note to that when you're playing any pentatonic position or pattern, and it gives you a more sophisticated sound. All you have to know is where your root note is, move up 2 frets, add that to the scale. Kind of a simplified way of adding a little bit of spice to your minor pentatonic licks. So I did this, then went 11, 8, 11, 8, 10, and then hammer on pull off right there. That same thing again, sliding to the flat 5, blues scale, that little deal, and then hammering on 8, 10, and then ending on the 8th fret here, B string. That's your 5th interval key of C. I think that sounds really cool. Doing this type of vibrato, it's a different vibrato than I normally do, but I hear Gary Moore doing this style of vibrato is where you go down first instead of up first. Has a totally different sound. So if you watch him, listen to him play, you can hear him do that style of vibrato a lot. Okay, so that is lick 2. Okay, lick 3 sounds like this. Okay, that's lick number 3, and it's played over the 4 chord, the F minor chord. And so I'm raking, I'm putting my first finger down on the G and the B strings and striking these two at once. Rake, and then striking those. And then doing this 10, 9, 8. So those three notes can be looked at as many different things. The way I think about it is it's just straight from the natural minor or aeolian mode, but it's an arpeggio. It's the notes contained. It also can be looked at as notes contained in an F minor chord. So that's an F note right here. That's the minor third. That's the fifth interval. And so those three notes give you a minor chord right there. So you can just take that, add it to your licks. And that's why I played it over the 4 F minor chord, because it's notes contained within the F minor chord right there. So pretty cool sound, I think. So I did that. 11 on the B string, 8, 10, 11. And then bend up 11th fret on the high E string. And then I do this kind of Albert King move, pop it with my finger. So pop it and bend it up, and then bend it again. But don't quite bend it as far the second time. It's just, you hear Albert King, Stevie Ray doing that kind of stuff a lot. Adds a lot of drama kind of sound doing that type of bend. Just classic blues move. Okay, so that is it for lick number 3. Okay, that does it for this lesson. Thanks for watching. And like I mentioned previously, if you would like the full lesson, the interactive tab and the backing track, check out the All Access Pass, and I'll see you next time.